Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and oh boy, people were talking about the upcoming scheduled ban announcement, and there was some rumors that it was going to be really excessive. The most discussed card was of course the One Ring, and shockingly enough, it's now banned. But they went just a touch, a hair further than that, and banned Amped Raptor, Gigantha Wellspring, Mox Opal is unbanned, Green Sun Zenith is unbanned, Faithless Looting is unbanned, and Splinter Twin is unbanned. I take that one personally, I hate that deck. Let's start in order that they wrote it. So standard, no changes. This one's kind of expected. It's really short. It just says, since our last announcement, f*** you. And then they hand drew a little picture of a cat flipping me off. So that's actually exactly what I expected. Literally no surprises there. Pioneer, Gigantha the Wellspring is banned. It's also banned from Explorer. What's Explorer? You're asking the wrong person. Find someone who plays it. Good luck. So they wrote, going into this announcement, it was clear that Modern needed the most help among our competitive formats. Yeah, they always wait until nobody plays it anymore and then they fix it and hope people come back. Really good business model to eliminate your entire customer base and then still try to sell them things and then fix it after you already did the damage. Anyway, our previous actions in August addressed the most glaring issue with the format, Nadu Winged Wisdom, which, yes, I agree with that completely. But guys, I swear to you on a stack of D&D books, they wrote, direct quote, but things haven't gotten much better. Do you guys know how bad Nadu was? For them to say things haven't gotten much better, things have not gotten much better. We analyzed a handful of options to try to get the format into a spot that our players would enjoy and be excited about. However, we felt more was needed, and then we realized that we cranked up the power level and standard so high that that's not possible, so good luck. And that's just a crudely drawn picture on a napkin this time of Mark Rosewater jumping out the window with a parachute. So it's not all surprises. So our players are the backbone of competitive Magic. We can observe tournament results, analyze the metagame, and dig into win rate numbers all day long, but it's all of you who are playing these formats, and at the end of the day, it's our job to ensure you're having as much fun as possible. So I guess they typoed the word casual because competitive, okay, 99.2 is the percentage I heard back in the day of people who never touch competitive play. Now structured play is F&M. That's within a format, like official, sanctioned, whatever. But competitive play, yeah, 0.8%. And I bet it's lower now. So no, not competitive. And you broke every format. So now it's just people playing Commander in their friends' basements to have fun, completely outside of a store, buying absolutely nothing and getting off the complete rat race gerbil wheel that is standard rotation. And now you're losing money because of it, because you power ramped it and you flew too close to the sun and now everybody left. You got greedy, you broke everything, and now you're trying to pick up the pieces with a, 8-way ban? And by the way, I haven't even mentioned the other bans yet. So they go on to say, Modern isn't the same format it was years ago. Oh, I can tell. There are several cards we banned years ago. Since then, several new sets have been released, specifically Modern Horizons. Oh, yes. Those 3 sets have made a sizable impact on the format. Yeah, they resulted in more bans than any other product in the past, actually, depending upon how you look at it. As such, we've decided it was time to set free a handful of cards. So the power is so high, let's just put in a bunch of broken crap back in and see what that does to try and up the diversity. That they've done this before, it has backfired 100% of the time. Okay, if you're new to Magic, I have seen this before, it doesn't work. This is a last-ditch effort to get somebody to play something, and it's not going to do anything. So we'll start by talking through each banning, then we'll move on to the cards that will be unbanned. So it's no secret that the One Ring has been a large part of the Modern metagame since its introduction 18 months ago, which is why we threw it into Mount Mordor. Is that the name of it? It's been a while. In the August announcement, we had stated that there wasn't a dominant One Ring deck, and people jumped all over them for this. By the way, that is the most ridiculous justification, when the real justification was basically, people are still buying this product, so we can't ban it yet, because we still have to sell it on Christmas. So yeah, the One Ring deck appeared in a variety of strategies, even propping up some more fringe archetypes. Ooh, upping diversity, wow. While it does appear in many different archetypes, it has also solidly become a part of the most dominant strategy in Modern Boros Energy. Ooh, yeah, you don't want to do that after MH3. The opportunity cost of including the One Ring in nearly any deck is too low, and its presence in events has become tiresome for most players, you don't say. Acting as a tool for self-preservation and a source of card advantage, it requires no commitment to any particular color. Yes, you're going through what you should have thought of before you designed it. We believe it is clear, and it has been for many of you. Had to make sure I was reading that correctly. We believe it's clear and has been for many of you that Modern would be a more enjoyable format without its inclusion, and thus the One Ring is banned in Modern because we're finally done selling it, so screw you if you invested in it. I may have editorialized that slightly. Removing the One Ring has certainly hit Boros Energy, but Boros Energy sucks anyway, so who cares? Modern's most played and most consistently dominant deck, but it also impacts several other strategies. We'd like to ensure that we reduce the overall win and play percentages of Boros Energy directly, though we don't want to eliminate it from the format. Why? It's awful. Like we did most recently with Nadu, Winged Wisdom. We considered many cards in deciding how to knock down Boros Energy, including Guide of Souls, Ajani, Nakatl Pariah, Flage, Titan of Fire's Fury, that's in there, really? However, we landed on Amped Raptor. I'll be honest, I didn't think that's where they were going with that. So each of these options could reasonably be included in a few other archetypes, while Amped Raptor only appears in Boros Energy. Yeah, take it down a notch, least impact. I mean, nothing new there. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but all 3 Modern Horizon sets have now resulted in a card getting banned from each of them. Good job, guys. At least it wasn't graveyard bullshit this time. At least it was just energy. Was energy. It was. It no longer is energy. Amped Raptor allows for some of the deck's most explosive starts, acting as an energy enabler and a payoff, and often amounting to an extra 1 to 4 mana, in the early turns of the game, so Amped Raptor is banned in Modern. As far as banning Jegantha the Wellspring, many of the same reasons that were explained above, which they're referring to its ban in other formats, apply to Modern, so actually I'll go read that. So the statement was about Pioneer and Explorer, I guess, too. We have monitored the metagame closely since our last BNR, and it looked healthy and diverse. I don't know where you were looking, but sure. The format has a variety of macro archetypes, and all the major decks are well within acceptable win and play rates. I mean, that I believe. They're just all toxic control crap, but sure, whatever. While deck diversity looks good, we believe Jegantha the Wellspring is hurting the format's diversity by reducing the pool of viable cards for many decks. Jegantha is played in many Pioneer decks, appearing as a companion for most decks that can cast it and don't have the keywords that violate its companion restriction. So it's just like a free, hey, here you go. You're basically starting the game with 8 cards, which was always the problem with companion, by the way. Mark Rosewater's, I guess, latest group, you could say, although resurrecting, basically, in fact, I'd add that to the list. So they go on to just kind of describe nothing that you would not expect, so I'll just skip the rest of that. Yeah, if your deck already qualifies, then you just get to start with this as a card. And it's 4+ hybrid. Like, you could cast this in a deck that isn't even those colors. You'd probably find a way to generate it. So in Modern, ultimately the decision to avoid cards that have more than one of the same mana symbol isn't a very interesting or fun one to make. By making a couple swaps in deck building, you can get access to a mostly free 5/5, earning you a couple percentage points in the win column. Exactly. This reduces the pool of options you might consider when building decks. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing in Modern, but okay. Which in turn makes for an overall less diverse format. They're calling it a build around, but then saying it's too ubiquitous. Those are completely opposites, but it's companion, it's annoying, and too many people are starting with an 8th card. Just say it. Like, they're dancing around and beating around the bush trying to gaslight us. It's a bad mechanic, it's a bad card. Now here's what I didn't expect. Jegantha is clocking in at around 40% of all Modern decks. What? From energy to zoo and several more fringe strategies. I was completely unaware of that. To reduce the dominance of Boros Energy and increase the amount of diverse card choices available in Modern, Jegantha the Wellspring is banned. So 2 kicks in the nuts to Boros Energy, but if you're playing it, you deserve it. If you're playing Blitz anything, you deserve it, to be honest. These bans above should do a decent job of making Modern more fun and balanced. Should. But you'd have to ban like the last 5 standard sets. Good luck with that. But could it be even better? I didn't know that was the next sentence when I said that. Okay. When we ban cards, we tackle problems as they arise using tournament data instead of player surveys and community feedback from idiots on Twitter who are just the same damn pro players. to navigate the format into a better place. The combination of objective and subjective reasoning has its flaws. Yeah, you only pick one to suit your whatever you really want to do. That's the real problem. Namely, the more sets released into a given format, the more powerful it becomes. Yeah, non-rotating. I mean, we all know that's a problem. And then the power level of some cards printed in the last 3 years. Let's throw that in. We've examined several cards on the BNR list and reintroduced some into the format. It is worth noting that this is the beginning of a new era of nobody playing this format of the game. They might as well just rename it Control versus Blitz instead of Magic the Gathering, because that's what everything is now. It's a freaking joke. Many of you have given feedback time and again about the good old days of Modern before Modern Horizons sets started increasing the power level of the format and breaking everything and resurrecting Tier 1 shit to make it Tier 0. And making iconic decks obsolete. Oh, boo-hoo. Yeah, people want to keep their deck for 6 years. I think that's a little unrealistic, to be honest, but sure. After long consideration, we've chosen an initial list of cards to unban that you already sold. So now if you were playing like Artifact Affinity or some toxic aids from 10 years ago, you've got even more crap competing that was already banned for being too aggressive and impossible to beat and too fast when those decks were popular, which is back in the good old days. So they're like going back to the worst possible time while listening to the worst possible people's feedback. Wow, this is going to blow up in their face. I can't wait till they reban some of these. I'm going to laugh so hard. So we'll closely monitor how these cards impact competitive Modern events over the upcoming regional championship season, and come March 31st, 2025, evaluate how things are looking. Well, it's looking like they're going to reban Splinter Twin, if you ask me, but there is a lot more fast control and fast decks, so maybe not, but I could choose a couple. I followed Modern a lot more back then than I do now, so I could choose a couple that I think are going to reban. I don't know. Did we make Modern a better place? Can we handle a wave of nostalgic and infamous cards to re-enter Modern? Was there something we released that's making Modern less fun? Yes. Only time will tell. So let's get into it. Kiki Jiki can go to hell. Let me just put that out there. I am not surprised that they didn't bring back Amulet Bloom. So they say, for much of Modern's history, Artifact decks have been a pillar of the format. Everybody hated them. We're bringing them back for some reason. There you go. There's your summary. So you got Affinity, Crook Clan Ironworks, which also I believe got banned. Lantern Control, which if you play that, I will literally attack you on sight. But it has been a while since we've seen such a strategy be competitively viable. They finally fixed it. They finally did it. They got this artifact shit out of the game, and now they're bringing it back. Unbelievable. We took a couple shots to elevate artifact strategies in Modern Horizons 2 for some reason after finally defeating the damn deck, and MH3, but alas, the power simply wasn't there. Mox Opal was banned in 2020 after the introduction of MH1. I forgot about that actually, which included our girlfriend Urza Lord High Artificer. While opening hands containing Mox Opal can be quite explosive, it's not like we ever stopped printing strong anti-artifact cards. They mentioned Meltdown and Wrath of the Sky specifically, so you have to now build around this horse shit. Otherwise, it'll run you over on turn 4. Fun! What a fun and enjoyable format. Very nostalgic. Thanks. This literally reminds me of why I stopped playing Modern. Green Sun Zenith has been banned in Modern since 2011. Holy crap. So in other words, the invention of it, I believe. Banned during a time when green decks were too strong, the card offered a level of consistency and flexibility that was difficult to combat, often narrowing the range of cards you'd consider playing. In fact, the logic we used to ban Jegantha this time around applies to why Green Sun Zenith was banned in the first place. But that was over a decade ago. This isn't a restricted build around and those cards have nothing to do with each other, but okay, other than that, today's green creature-based decks are few and far between. Even Basking Brood scale combo decks can't use Green Suns to find its namesake. Why not? Oh, because it's not green. That is the worst, stupidest example. Anyway, Yawgmoth's combo has basically fallen off the map, and while finding Grist the Hunger Tide is nifty, key cards like Orcish Bowmasters, Yawgmoth Ran Physician, and Zulaport Cutthroat are unable to be tutored. I know some kids that are unable to be tutored too. Could help make a resurgence. Modern Horizons 3's new to modern reprints of Sylvan Safekeeper and Wirewood Symbiote might be tasty targets. Yeah, because everybody wants Elf Ball. Boy, why don't you just do MH4 and make it all slivers? Like, what the hell are they even thinking with this shit? Maybe old favorites like Dryad Arbor and Prime Time will be here, aka Primeval Titan, will be entering even more often. I hope not. To help increase metagame diversity, Green Sun see this is unbanned. Okay, I don't necessarily disagree with that one. Their logic, and that's all bullshit, but the rest, okay. Back in 2019, after Pro Tour Barcelona, it was clear that Holgak Arisen Necropolis was stronger than intended. Yeah, graveyard shit is annoying too. You didn't factor that in? One of the cards that died for Holgak's sins was Faithless Looting. Oh no, God forbid we ban that artwork. But Faithless Looting had propped up multiple strategies. Arclight Phoenix, Hollow One, Dredge, just other assorted cancer, and even some fair mid-range decks. I don't think that they meant to phrase it that way, but we're going to say that the first part of that sentence would be the antonym of fair. Unfair? Guys, it wasn't Arclight Phoenix, Hollow One, and Dredge, but it was even in some decks that are actually fair. Like Young Pyromancer and Seasoned Pyromancer and probably other Pyromancers. All played Faithless Looting. Oh my gosh, how dare we get rid of it then? Now, 5 years later, we're interested in seeing what Faithless Looting can do without a certain giant avatar rearing its ugly head. Yep. Much like with the discussion of Mox Opal, we've introduced several anti-graveyard options. So now you got to put those in too. So you got to do anti-artifact and anti-graveyard. There might actually even be room back in the deck to build whatever the hell deck you want to play too, on top of these 8 ofs plus sideboard. So let's see. Yeah, options into Modern since looting's removal, blah, 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 who cares? Namely Endurance, Boggart, Trawler. Yeah, that'll solve your problems. Faithless Looting is unbanned in Modern. Wow. It's a question for the ages. Would Splinter Twin be strong in today's Modern? No. Twin was banned back in 2016 after consistently being at the top of the metagame and taking down a few Pro Tours. The fear of tapping out into 3 open mana and dying was real. Yeah, it was really annoying. Do you hold mana open for removal or try to progress your board state in hopes that getting the game over before they can assemble their 1-2 punch of Pestermite and Splinter Twin? And then that's the end of the sentence? I don't think even they know what they're writing there, whatever. History tells us that replacing Splinter Twin with Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker doesn't cut it. Really? So can 8 years of format evolution keep the twin combo in check? We think it can. Well, I think you're wrong and you're idiots. And you shouldn't bring back toxic, like, just all-in glass cannon win or don't binary win condition shit that's boring, repetitive, and stupid. Dynamic, long, interesting play with a lot of back and forth, not competitive coin flipping, okay? We don't want some bullshit like this back in the game with all the assistance of the last, what would it be, 8 years worth of cards? This was a huge mistake unbanning that. So they go on to try to justify it for 2 more paragraphs, but I'm not interested in any more of their bullshit. I've hit my limit. So Legacy. Psychic Frog is banned and Vexing Bauble is banned. Ooh. Those are some cards I guarantee you've heard of. And Psychic Frog is from MH3, by the way, so just knocking it out of the park with that one. I hope they never do another one. Spoiler alert, they already leaked that they're never doing another MH ever again. So they banned Grief to stop Dimir Reanimator, and they achieved that result, but not quite to the extent they were hoping, so they got to kick it in the nuts again. So Dimir Reanimator is sitting at double the play rate of the next most played strategy, even with Grief gone, which really makes you wonder why they took that long to ban Grief. Psychic Frog plays extremely well within the general shell of Reanimator strategy. Everybody loves graveyard strategies, but then again, Vintage and Legacy are both not Magic the Gathering in my opinion, so who gives a shit? It pretty much is just rich boy bullshit, $10,000 decks and competitive coin flipping, so I don't give a shit about the format and you shouldn't either. The Dimir Reanimator deck has been able to circumvent anti-graveyard technology by having this extremely efficient, fair game plan. Nothing fair about that, but okay. While we believe Reanimator to be a healthy archetype for Legacy, and that's where you're wrong, it should have its usual weaknesses, which is nuking your freaking graveyard. Additionally, the power of Psychic Frog narrows the range of Reanimator variants, forcing players to consolidate down to a tight Dimir shell. Oh no. God forbid they just net deck instead of creativity. You're so against that as a company. So they mentioned Dimir Murktide. They want this gone from that too. Certain other decks. I mean, who cares? Nobody plays these damn formats. So they actually were considering Entomb and Reanimate as a ban, but they landed on this instead. I don't know, man. Whatever. One of the pillars of Legacy is free counter magic, which lets you know what I think of that format. It is part of the glue that holds the format together so that idiots can play it. When certain strategies can ignore this pillar at very little cost to their primary proactive game plan, the format can begin to fall apart quickly. Decks like Mystic Forge combo, Painter's Servant combo, and Red Ancient Tomb decks are happy to include a 1-mana artifact that can replace itself when it's no longer useful. While the inclusion of Vexing Bauble is a rather recent development in the Legacy metagame, oh my god, yeah, it's another MH3 card. I think that wasn't the first time they printed it, but it was in MH3, for the record. With a concerning win rate among decks that include multiple main deck copies of Vexing Bauble and its inherent strength against a pillar of the format, it has been banned in Legacy. So with Psychic Frog and Vexing Bauble removed from the format, several of the top decks will need to change. The recent success of Nadu variants, Cephalid Breakfast, and Bant Green Sun Zenith decks has us keeping a close eye on Nadu Winged Wisdom. I honestly thought he was banned from Legacy already, so that's news to me. For now, we believe today's changes should navigate the format into a more diverse and healthy position. By the way, in Vintage, in August, Vexing Bauble and Urza Saga were both restricted. So Vintage found them to be problematic. Luris of the Dream Den is still legal in Vintage, which I was 100% sure that was banned. Not even restricted, banned. So I don't know what the hell happened there. Maybe I missed something, but then they complain about Psychic Frog and then move on because nobody plays Vintage. No changes to Alchemy, which is weird because they're supposed to change it all the time. But if you want to know what's about to get banned, they're going to ban Golden Sidekick in the near future because they're sick of white-black bats. So am I. So in Explorer, Gigantha is banned because it matches Pioneer or whatever. Historic, who cares? They complain about some Hydras and some bullshit. There you go. Timeless, I forgot what that even is. I think Arena Eternal. Let me summarize what they actually wrote. We added too many cards to know what the hell's going on and nobody's playing it. We don't know what the meta even is, so we're going to let the dust settle first and then ban a bunch of shit. Since this will affect all 8 players of Timeless on Arena, I think they should just call them on the phone individually and ask them what they think should be banned. And then in Brawl, they made some rebalances, changed the value of Nadu, who would have thought, and Grenzo. Or they changed the values and now those as a result are where they should be. They weren't real clear, but who cares? Then they wanted to remind us that the latest Foundation's Jumpstart specifically added 35 commanders to Arena. Oh, that'll get people playing Brawl. More crap to burn all your wild cards that you don't have on. Sure, that'll happen. If I read the comments initially here on social media, everybody's pissed that Lantern Control is back. They're pissed that the people who thought Splinter Twin would ever come back were right. And they're also pissed that Splinter Twin is coming back, period. And then it's just people being absolutely livid over all the money they just lost on the One Ring, knowing damn well that it was going to get banned. Then they're memeing on Joe Biden pardoning Splinter Twin. So I had to shout that out because that's actually pretty funny. And nobody really has much to say about the rest. They're just like, yeah, that seems about right. Okay, cool, whatever. There's actually more speculation about, wow, all the dumbass day trader wannabe investor Rudy from Alpha Investment clone dumbasses who wasted their parents' money and their credit card balances on dumb shit like the One Ring are about to absolutely lose their ass, and that's hilarious. There's more comments about that than there are, oh man, I owned like a couple of these, I'm so mad. Which is weird, because I assume those people aren't at work right now. I'm on my lunch right now recording this. They're usually the self-employed work-from-home types that build net decks and invest in dumb shit like that. Well, WotC screwed up again. Modern did not need any kind of artifact affinity or lantern control back, and it certainly didn't need binary win condition trash like Splinter Twin. Why the hell isn't Blood Moon banned yet? Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you guys next announcement.